Imagine we've just stepped into a time machine. The doors closed, and when they open, it's 2010. You have no titles, no resume, no connection, nothing. But you do have one thing, the knowledge that you've gained. Are you ready to walk out of the machine?
That's basically what I did.
Environmental sustainability. Okay, I did a little bit of research, so I will be talking about that. Okay, so Cindy, you're the mayor of Walnut Creek, and you're someone who's genuinely passionate about the city. You know, you have over a decade of experience in public service. You've shaped the way public service is, especially locally, and you're also very passionate about environmental sustainability. Yes. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about that?
Yeah, I came into local politics from an interesting direction. I worked for the state of California for 25 years or so. I was by training, I'm a wildlife and fisheries biologist, which is a little odd to get into local government. But I spent a lot of my career negotiating environmental issues and finding resolutions that worked for the environment as well as the people who needed to build a project, get a permit, things like that. And so I really understand how government works and how negotiations work and how you find win-win solutions for people. And so when I retired, when my kids started middle school and they told me they didn't need a nanny anymore, and I said, you need eyes on you. I retired at 50 and I started on the Walnut Creek Planning Commission. And I figured there I could use my experience with environmental planning and local regulation. And so I did that for 10 years. And then I decided to run for council.
Oh, that's amazing. It's like, wow, who would have thought that you'd become mayor?
It's very different, very different.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I bet if you could talk to like your past self, I bet that you would be like, hey, so I'm mayor now, and your past self would be like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, in my 20s, I did a lot of field biology. I worked in national parks. I worked all over the place. I lived in the backcountry. It was Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom for about 10 years there. And if you had told that, Cindy, that I would end up as mayor of Walnut Creek, I would not have believed you. Yeah.
Honestly, that's amazing. You know, a lot of people, like professionals, they say that whatever you decide to pursue in the future, you want to have a domain, you know, something that you specialize in. Who would have thought yours would be like environmental sciences and biology? Oh my gosh.
Well, and one of the things that you guys, your generation needs to keep in mind is that we're at a point where there are jobs that we don't even know about yet that are going to be coming out. And so develop the skills to work with people, develop the self-initiative, develop the curiosity and the ability to do research. And then you can do a whole bunch of different things and you could pivot if you get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, that was fun. I'm ready to go do this.
You know, honestly, that's great advice, especially I think like you were kind of also talking about this with like AI coming in, you know, it's going to be like physical jobs will be so in demand.
It's going to be, I haven't even wrapped my head around the ways that AI is going to change the future for you guys. You think about all the routine things that you can just, my husband loves to ask ChatGPT questions. Stop it already.
Oh my God, no, yeah, ChatGPT is everyone's best friend now. It's become pretty big. Yeah. Okay, so before we step into the three worlds that I'll explain in a minute, you serve on the MCE board, which you can, maybe if you can tell us a little bit about it.
So MCE was born out of the frustration people had with the current electrical delivery system that we have in California. And, you know, during the energy crisis in the 90s and this and that and the other thing. And it started out in Marin County. That's why it's M. It used to be from Marin. Now it's just M. And it's cities and counties getting together and saying that we, through MCE, are going to purchase electricity. We have to rely upon PG&E to transfer it to our customers, but we will give those customers an electricity product that is more sustainable. You can have a light green where I think it's 60% of your electricity is from renewable, or you could go for deep green, which is 100% renewable.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And we managed to deliver that electricity to our customers at about par with what PG&E provides. And we, rather than paying ourselves profits, we take the money and go back into the community and help disadvantaged communities do the kind of energy retrofits that can help them be more sustainable, help their budgets.
That's amazing.
So it's a lot of fun. It's
a lot. That sounds exciting too. You know, you guys found a new way and you were able to use it. And
they really created this out of whole cloth. I went to the legislature and said, we can do this. And people were not sure it was going to work in the beginning, 12, 15 years ago, but it provides the electricity for most of the county, for the county of Contra Costa and most of the cities. I think
Do you know if it's expanded beyond Bay Area? Or?
The concept has expanded up and down California. Nice. They're called community choice aggregators, and there are community choice aggregators up and down the state. MCE being the oldest is kind of the trendsetter for things.
That's amazing. So MCE was the start of something huge.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's honestly amazing. We're definitely going to come back to that later. So today we're going to be traveling through 3 different worlds. Okay. Technically the past, present, and future, but I'm going to make it sound more fun by calling it the no title world, the real world, and the future world. Okay. So we'll start in the no title world. So Cindy, imagine we've just stepped into a time machine. The door's closed. And when they open, it's 2010. So we're back in 2010. You have no titles, no resume, no connection, nothing. But you do have one thing, the knowledge that you've gained, which is very important. So your name tag is blank and your phone is empty and no one knows who you are. Are you ready to walk out of the machine?
That's basically what I did when I retired, because I had worked my way up, and I was sitting here trying to remember when did I retire. But I had worked for 20 plus years. I had made it to the point where I was the deputy assistant secretary for the State Resources Agency. I had a big portfolio of things. But I decided my family was more important. It was the kids were starting middle school. They needed some guidance. And I was commuting to Sacramento, which makes for a long day. So I decided to say, okay, I'm going to step out of the job. I am going to retire very early. And then I'm going to refigure out what I'm going to do.
So you actually did that.
I actually did it. I actually did it. And it was interesting because for many of us, your job is who you are in a lot of ways. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, I don't have a job anymore.
Yeah,
I'm a mom.
Oh, wow. That must have been a big change, because as you said, like everyone, like usually their job is like the thing that they revolve their life around. And when you were like a mom, it was like big change, right?
And a mom is a huge thing to do. It's a great thing to do. I love my kids. I'm so glad I spent the time with them. But it took a little adjusting in my brain. I'm like,
for sure.
I am not. I'm just wearing sweatpants all the time.
Okay. Well, these questions will definitely be easier to answer then. So what is the very first thing you would do after exiting that time machine, even before you eat lunch, which basically just means like as soon as possible?
Just look around you and think, this is where I am. Okay. Just settle in. Like, no, you can make this work. And, take stock of what's going on around you. Kind of learn where you are.
Do you think you would be like, would you be like sad that you went back, or would you be happy that you have another chance to redo everything and this time you have a competitive advantage because of all the knowledge you've gained? Or like, what do you think?
Change is something, it's always difficult. I mean, people your age go through so many changes. You go to high school, you go to college, you graduate college, you find a job. And each time you're sad about what you're leaving behind, but you're ready for what's coming next.
It's like right in between. That's what changes.
You're kind of on that edge, like, okay,
exactly. But as you said, it's not bad because it's sad because you're leaving something behind, but then at the same time you get to experience new.
Hopefully you're there at a point where it's time to make the change.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like if you're prepared, then it's like it's exciting. It's something new. Would you build skills first, or would you rather try and make money first? What do you think that you would want to do first? What would you prioritize?
It's hard to make money if you don't have skills.
That is very true.
You need something that is marketable for people. And so I would say inventory the skills that you have. think about what it is you want to do and where you need to take your skills and tune them up, or where you need to find a new skill. Because making money is really all about finding your reason and finding your purpose. And it's not just scooping ice cream at the ice cream store, which is a 16-year-old job. It's the most fun that you can have on a job is a job that you believe in, and a job where
100%.
you're doing things that you find interesting. So figuring out what are your skills, what are the options, and then putting those together.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely like you should be passionate about what you do, and that is a very good point you made. You need skills in order to make money.
Yes, you do.
So I want to ask you, since you're really into environmental sustainability. What's one quick environmental win that you would aim for in the first 30 days of coming back to 2010 in order to build momentum?
That's interesting.
What's
I'm
the goal?
not 100% sure on that one. One of the things that I've been able to recognize from the work I've done is how much each one of us makes individual decisions every day, that you could do this or you could do that. And the this or the that affects the environment around us. It affects the world around us. When you go to fix your landscaping in your house, are you putting in tons and tons of grass, or are you putting in native plants and it's lower water? When you get up to go to the grocery store, are you buying just what you need, or are you buying a ton of stuff that's going to end up getting thrown out and go into the trash and create greenhouse gases in the, so there's decisions that we each make on a daily basis.
Wow. So it's like the small choices that everyone makes, they accumulate over time, and that's what leads to either a better world or climate change. Wow. Okay, that's honestly, thank you. That's something that I think is very important also, because it's just important for everyone to have in their mind, because it's like people, it's simple as like trash. Like there's a trash can, but it's a mile away. It's like, I don't want to hold the trash for that long. Like it's fine. No one's going to see it. I'll put it in the bush. But then after 100 people do that, all of a sudden there's a big pile. So I think that's something very important that, we can learn. So thanks for sharing that. So the no title world is what we've been in. We're leaving that. Okay.
We're going to
the real world.
The real world.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we're in the real world, I'm going to ask you questions about Walnut Creek. Okay. So what's your number one priority for Walnut Creek right now? And what's the first action you're taking towards it?
We actually, as a council, we go through a process where we formally say, here are the priorities every 2 years.
Nice.
And that helps us, we as council, get things done by giving direction to our staff. So the whole city government, the police department, public works, the community development who issues permits for projects. And so we go through and say, what are the most, in this case, we have 5 of the most important: public safety, economic development, sustainability, completing the Heather Farm, the projects that we have going with Heather Farm and over at Tice, and then beginning to work on the new city general plan, which is basically the Bible of where the city wants to go over the next 20 years.
Nice. Wow.
And of those 5 priorities, four that we've been working on for the last 5 years that I've been on council. But the new general plan is going to be interesting, because we need to think about, where is Walnut Creek going to be 20 years from now?
That's one of my questions later.
And what do we need to do to be ready for that? And sometimes I think, oh, it's not that much. And I think, wait a second. If self-driving cars become a thing, then where do they go at night? Do we all use Waymo? I don't want to sound like George Jetson, but if we're all using Waymos, where do the Waymos go at night? Things like that.
100%. That's I mean, that's wow. I've never thought of it from like that perspective, especially the Waymo analogy. Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You don't want to end up where they were in San Francisco, where they had all the Waymos get sent to a garage, and then they start parking and barking and beeping at each other.
That happened?
Oh yeah, there was one night, there was a bunch of the self-driving cars were in a parking lot, and they started honking. And
oh my gosh.
The neighbors like,
that's a little scary.
Yeah.
Did they get possessed? Or?
No, they just didn't have their sensors right.
Yeah.
So they were,
Okay. So I think that's really nice. Did you say the fifth one was a general plan?
yeah, the
or-
general plan is
general
the
plan.
new one that we picked
So is
up
it kind
this
of like
time.
you guys are working on building it, or you're working on implementing it?
What we're going to do is we're going to start with community conversations with the people in Walnut Creek
Nice.
about what are the kinds of things that you would like to see in the city over the next 20 years. You know, because things like the pool and the community center, Heather Farms, that's something that started years ago.
Yeah.
But what else do we need to do? What else? You think about the big changes in Walnut Creek. We built the leisure center. BART came in. They built the freeways. They developed all the parks. You know, one of the big decisions that affects Walnut Creek to this day is that Ignacio Valley Road was originally going to be a highway.
No way.
Yes, it was going to be a highway. And then back in, I think, the 80s, they decided, no,
Oh my gosh.
let's not make it a highway.
I'm glad they didn't. I love Ignacio.
but all those people that commute on it, you know.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So each one of those decisions that we've made over services, over, you know, how we're going to develop affects the community for a long time in the future.
100%. Yeah, that's, I never really thought of it like that, especially because it's like, these are not small changes. Like, these are, you know, big things. And it's like, once it's there, then it's kind of like a milestone. Like BART, I don't think BART's going to get removed anytime soon.
No.
And it's like, even if like obviously we love BART, but if like someone wanted to remove it, then that wouldn't really be possible because it's, you know, so big.
A lot of people, when they think about Walnut Creek, they think about, oh, it's always been this way. And it's like, no. If you think about Walnut Creek, a lot of different decisions through the years. Like, for example, Broadway Plaza. That started about the same time as all the indoor malls.
No way.
But they decided to make it an outdoor mall. During COVID, the indoor malls were a ghost town, and Broadway Plaza, because it was outside, it felt safe, it felt healthy. It thrived.
Wow. Is that why they decided, because of COVID, or just like
No, it was just a decision that was made a long time ago, and then Mace Rich, the company that operates Broadway Plaza, came in probably mid 2015, right in there, and did a big remodel.
Wow.
Upgraded the whole center.
Oh, Broadway Plaza has only been there since 2015?
It's been there for a lot longer, but they came in and they did a big, they expanded the parking, they added an additional lane of shops, things like that.
Wow, they changed it and turned it into the Broadway Plaza it is today.
Yeah.
Wow, that's honestly amazing. And it's also, okay, two things. One, it's really nice, like, just to understand that, like, every decision, even if it's a small decision, or usually these ones are not small that we're talking about, but like, even if it's a small decision, then it's like, you know, that's still like it accumulates and it becomes a big decision, especially if there's multiple people involved. And then on the note of multiple people involved, it's like in the city, it's amazing that it's not just, you know, like a few people like in this room that are making decisions. It's like everyone collectively, different departments in Walnut Creek are all working together. And it's not just them too. They're asking everyone, the people and citizens, residents in Walnut Creek, what they want to see. And then it's happening.
That's one of the special things about Walnut Creek. We have a tremendous history of volunteership, community service. We have a lot of people that serve on individual commissions that look at parks, that look at transportation, that look at planning, that look at the arts. And those citizens on those committees provide us the input. But we also have a lot of listening that we do to the general public about, you know, what would you most like to see happen?
That's amazing. And I think that's so important. It's like, I don't think Walnut Creek or any city would be the same without all of the different ways for, you know, the residents and citizens to get involved and not just get involved, make a huge difference, you know, like that's really amazing. So, okay, without the title, how would you identify and win over the people who could open doors for you? So how would you essentially connect with people?
When I was first deciding to run for council in 2020, I sat down with a couple people and asked them basically, how do you convince people that they should vote for you? And they said, well, you have to come up with, you know, what are your priorities and what's your vision and how can you help them? And then you need to boil that down into your elevator talk, which is the talk you give somebody when you're just waiting for the elevator, like, you know, the 30-second, here's who I am. And so that was interesting. I spent some time kind of writing out different versions of, what do I want to do? Who do I, and you kind of had to boil it all down into a succinct argument that you could give people about.
Isn't that hard to like close like so much information and condense it all?
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm a scientist, and so I never
had to.
Oh no, I never like to say a very simple thing because the world is not simple.
Exactly.
And so if you say, oh, well, this is good, I want to add, because this, and this, except in this situation. So I always have to, my people, when I was working on the campaign, they said, stop explaining.
They're like, it's okay, just don't add all that information.
Yeah, don't
but
add
it's like, I need that, like that's important. It's vital.
It is.
It's like, it's
how I see the world.
Yeah, no, honestly, I can relate with that. It's like, I'm working on college essays right now, and oh my gosh, I have so much information that I want to add, but it's like I can only do 350 words. Okay, you know what? I just got to keep it in that limit. Yeah. So I can totally see where you're coming from with that. So thanks for sharing. And then also, what's a decision you've made in the past year? So I guess like as of last year, August until now, that you think will matter a decade from now?
The priority setting that we did this last winter, I think will affect people. We're going to drive to completion on the new swimming pool. And you think about the existing pool at Heather Farm at Clark Center. I have a friend who's in his late 60s, and he was one of the first people to ever swim in that pool. There's a picture of him as an 8-year-old at a swim meet at Clark Swim Center when it first opened.
No way. And
so the decisions that we made to do the new pool are going to affect people 50 years from now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Wow, that's amazing.
Those decisions on priorities, and then the decisions on the priorities about safety, like public safety. A lot of times when people say public safety, they just mean more cops.
Yes.
And more cops does not necessarily solve the problems that we're facing. And so we have spent money and time and energy helping with homeless day services, helping with a non-police mental health response, and looking at public safety broadly. What are all the different ways that a community can keep people safe?
That's so important. Yeah. I love that you guys are thinking of it, more broadly rather than only, as you said, like a lot of people think that public safety means just get more cops and they'll take care of it. Like,
and I'm not belittling the idea that you do need enough. We ended up hiring. We ended up hiring 5 new law enforcement officers.
Nice.
But the other thing that we added in was a crime prevention specialist.
Oh, that's amazing.
And what that person does is they use the data, because there's a lot of data coming in about where crimes are happening. And if you look for patterns, you can help the officers be more effective on the street.
Nice.
So we're not only adding the bodies, but we're adding the technology and the thought process and the data to make them more effective.
It's like you guys are building a full structure. So it's like something to support also the cops, so that it's like much more, much like it works more. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't think of the word, but you get what I mean.
Well, we're helping them be as effective as they can.
Yes, exactly.
Giving them the tools they need, because that's one of the most important things to me about policing. I think police need to be well trained, well educated. They need to have the tools. They need the emotional and community support, and they need the accountability. And so those things together really 100%. Create a functional police.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was really nice. Okay, so now we're going into the future world.
Okay, future world.
So if you could design Walnut Creek from the ground up starting today, what is one bold change you would make that would shape the next decade?
There's a number of things that we're doing that and are going to continue to work on. One is, right now it is tremendously expensive to live in Walnut Creek, especially if you're trying to buy a house. As I explained to you earlier, both of my kids are in their 20s getting married, and they'd like to buy a house. But the houses in Walnut Creek start at $1 million, and they don't have $1 million. I mean, my first house when I bought it a long time ago was $60,000 for a whole house.
Really?
And at the time I thought, wow, that's a lot of money. Now I'm like, oh my God, that was nothing.
Inflation.
It wasn't, yeah, what I spent on my first house is not enough to even put a down payment on
Oh my gosh, that's
so
insane.
we're continuing to look for ways to expand housing opportunity in Walnut Creek.
Yeah.
And that has an interesting sustainability benefit because right now, a lot of the jobs in Walnut Creek, people commute in from other areas.
Yeah.
And the more people have to commute in, that's a tremendous source of greenhouse gas.
Yeah.
And so the more we get them living and working in the same place, it's healthier for their family life because they're not spending 2 hours on the freeway. But they're also not spewing out a bunch of gas, fumes from their car. And so we're trying to find ways to do that. So we have things like the Habitat for Humanity project out at Las Juntas, which is for sale to the owner. We ask them, the Habitat for Humanity's model is they ask the homeowner to put a certain amount of sweat equity into the project, and then they get a place to live that they can buy.
Wow.
If they decide to sell it, they can sell it back to Habitat and then move on. But it's just another way. One of my daughter's friends is a teacher, and she managed to get her first house there in the Habitat project.
With the project?
Yeah, so it's just a nice way to help people live where they work and work where they live.
That's amazing. It's helping both people like a lot, for example, with the person you said, and then it's also helping the environment a lot, you know, as you said, because it cuts like the amount to travel, which is, wow, that's honestly amazing. And I'm speaking from everyone in Walnut Creek when I say thank you.
It definitely, and we're trying to put a lot of the new development close to downtown, close to all the things that are downtown. It's a resource-rich environment. It's a place where you can get on BART easily. You know, there's a lot going on there. So
that's very important. I definitely think that's going to make a big change in the next 10 years. Like, I can, you know, as you said earlier, it was $60,000 when you bought it, which is, that's insane. Oh my gosh.
I know. My kid's like, Mom, I don't want to hear about that.
I know your kids are probably like, I wish I could buy a house for $60,000. But like, you know, now it's gone up so much, and like inflation's not going to stop. By the time like I'm older, it's probably also going to be like, I don't know, I'm probably wrong, but like $5 million for a house. I don't even want to
think about where it could end up. But and we can't solve all of California's housing problem. We really are depending on the communities around us to do their share.
100%.
But
yeah, it's like inflation is not something that we can control, but if everyone works together to do more projects like this housing one that you guys are working on, then I think that results will be inevitable. And you guys, like, we as a, not really community just in Walnut Creek, but as like everyone in Bay Area or California as a state, will start to see differences. So this is like, you know, an amazing change that you're making. So thank you, Cindy. We kind of talked about this earlier when you said like 20 years from now, but what's the one thing you hope Walnut Creek will be famous for in 2040?
I always say that the Walnut Creek that I want to see is a place that feels safe, feels clean, and feels welcoming, so that everybody feels comfortable coming here. They feel safe. They have a sense of the community and a sense of belonging. And so that's kind of where I want things to go. We're human beings. We're social animals. We live in communities, and building one that feels healthy, that feels safe, and that's safe in all the ways. So you can walk downtown without getting run over. So you can ride your bike along the Iron Horse Trail. You know, all those different parts of the community.
That's amazing. Safe, clean, and welcoming. I'm gonna remember that. That's such a simple yet like strong, I guess, goal and vision, you know, like by 2040, I can totally see Walnut Creek. Like I feel like right now it's already so amazing, but there definitely like, are places to improve, which is like why, you know, as it's improving, I feel like it's always gonna,
we're always looking for opportunities. So.
That's amazing. There's always going to be room for improvement, right? And it's like, can I ask, how are you planning on making Walnut Creek more welcoming?
More welcoming is an interesting thing in Walnut Creek. We are at a point where California as a whole is becoming more diverse. and helping people recognize the value of that diversity is contrary to what you might hear out of some quarters. It's our strength. That diversity, the ability to think in different ways.
Yeah.
And so we as a city are doing things to make that diversity, emphasize the strength of it. For example, all of our arts programs get together and have a Festival Cultural, which focuses on Latin culture. And they bring in a street fair and they do this and they do that. And that, if you can see yourself in local government, if you can see yourself in what your community is doing, you will feel more welcome. And so
that's honestly, I love that.
That's what we're doing. And I think it will continue to be a source of strength for our community.
100%. Yeah, I think diversity is so important, and it's definitely something that Walnut Creek has. So that's like, I think that's already something that's like, so unique and special about Walnut Creek. That makes it like such a welcoming place already,
Yeah, and it's interesting because for people of your generation, there's things that my generation lived with that you would think, oh my God, like it wasn't until the 60s and the 70s where new subdivisions weren't restricted to who could buy there.
Really?
The Eichler houses out by on the other side by John Muir, those houses are one of the first subdivisions where they allowed people of color to buy the houses.
In the 60s?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, in the 60s when they were building those houses. Eichler was like, no, I'll sell to anybody. He had to call the bank a couple times and say, yes, I am letting these people buy a house in my subdivision. That history of planning to maintain segregation is something that people don't see. But if you learn about it, like, wow.
As you kind of mentioned earlier, it's like Walnut Creek, a lot of people think that, everything that's built, like BART, Broadway Plaza, it's just here. Like, it's just always been here, it's just there. But as, like, you kind of said right now, and then earlier, too, it's like, it wasn't always here. People had to work hard for it. Like, whether they had to do advocacy or, as you said, that, like, in the 60s, he had to make a few calls and say, like, no, I'm going to sell to anyone I want to.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's, as you said, so important to, understand the history of Walnut Creek and how it got to here. And, like, I feel like 20 years from now also, I know we don't want to think too much of the future, especially the money because inflation, but it's like, in the future, there's also going to be so many more amazing improvements, and I feel like it's going to be even more amazing. And at that time, we're going to be looking like, oh yeah, it was always like that. But it's like, nope, it was like this at a point.
Yeah, you forget. You forget. Like even me just living here, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. That has not always been there.
Wow, it's really nice. It's like it's because we're so comfortable in it, and we're so happy with how it is. So I feel like that's a good sign in a way too. Okay, so this one, I'm excited to hear your response. If you had an unlimited budget and no political limits, what project would you launch tomorrow that would change the city forever?
Here's one of the things I would do. If you look at greenhouse gas impacts, the two biggest areas are transportation and the built environment, houses, buildings, things like that. And a lot of the new development in California has to live up to a very high energy efficiency standard. But we have a lot of buildings here in Walnut Creek that were built back before those energy standards came into effect. So those are houses that are less efficient to heat. They don't have solar. They don't have smart thermostats. There's a lot of things like that.
Changes.
There's a lot of changes you can make, and there's a lot of things that a lot of the multifamily, there's no electric vehicle chargers.
Yeah.
So upgrading, providing a way for everybody to upgrade their house, energy efficiency, solar, battery storage, EV charging, would do some things that would really help transform this community. And some of that is economic because your house will be easier and more efficient and cheaper to operate. if you do if somebody waved a magic wand and said, oh, now you have insulation, now you have a heat pump in the winter, so you're not, there are all these things that you could do, and it could really help with greenhouse gas impacts in Walnut Creek. Some of that came, the Federal Inflation Reduction Act, which was passed during the previous president's term, was a start. It was a down payment on that. They really had a lot of incentives in there, and I would like to see those incentives keep going, because it helps people. It helps in a time of inflation, because your PG&E bill, if you're running a very inefficient house, even if you're buying good, clean MCE energy from PG&E through PG&E, it's more expensive if you have a less efficient house.
Yeah, 100%.
And your budget will be a lot easier to maintain if you can get that bill down.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that it will continue? As you said, like there's been some starts.
A lot of the changes that are coming to electrify houses, make them more efficient, add EV chargers, all that stuff is just going to continue to. It's going to continue to make sense for people. It's going to be something that people are going to do. But the faster we do it, the better off we are.
100%. Yeah. I think there's definitely been a lot of changes in the past few years, but if we're able to speed it up a lot more, like you said, that would be really nice. Also, one question. You said that you would want to make this change in the community. When you say in the community, do you mean only Walnut Creek, only California, or, because remember, I said no political limits.
I'm queen of the world.
Yes,
I would like to see it everywhere, because it really, it's a global problem, and it's something that if it makes you more comfortable in your house, if it makes your house more efficient, if it makes your house cheaper to run, and it's good for the environment,
there's no downside. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. It's those win-wins that help make decisions good decisions.
100%. Is there no downside, at all? If there was no downside, why is everyone not doing it?
People are doing it. It really comes down to an economic decision, because you're investing up front in the efficiency and the electrification with a payback period. And how fast it pays back will depend on how much you're paying for electricity and how inefficient the existing property is.
Yeah, for sure.
And so a lot of times, and what capital you have available, how much money you have to do the upgrades. Because they're not, and some of them are cheap, some of them are not.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's one of the things. In some places in this country, electricity is cheaper. People will put it off. They're like, oh, no, we don't need to do that yet.
Yeah, but then
because the payback period is like a 20 or 30 year payback, as opposed to, I think when we added solar to our house, it was going to pay for itself in 8 years. That makes sense.
Well, I really hope in another world you become queen of the world, because you would make some amazing changes, and that would be a nice world to live in.
That's truly a money unlimited thing, but it's something that we can all just keep working towards.
Yeah, it's something that's even possible in this world if we all work together, which I think we are definitely. It's been a start, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to play a game that I made for you, Cindy. Okay, it's called the hot seat game. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire scenarios, okay? And you have to give me your gut answer, just like off the top of your mind. Exactly. So, ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. $50,000 to spend tomorrow on any Walnut Creek project. Where does it go?
Put it into our sustainability action plan and those kinds of retrofits, especially for multifamily housing and the housing for people that are struggling to meet their bills.
Nice. Meet a top Silicon Valley investor or a small neighborhood group of 12 residents.
Residents.
Major Walnut Creek intersection blocked at rush hour. What's your first call?
One of the things I discovered when you get on city council is you don't wait to call them. They will call you when something like that happens. You will get the text from the chief of police that says, by the way, just know, and then the first question is, what are we doing to keep people safe? A lot of times when an intersection's closed, it's a traffic accident, it's a power pole that's come down, it's something major. Are our people safe? Are the people in the community safe? And then how are we going to help people adjust to this?
Nice. Okay, a TV crew offers a national segment, but you miss a key local meeting. Do you take it?
I'll do the local meeting. I don't want to be, I might talk about being queen of the world,
Mhm.
but local government is where the decisions are made that affect people the most in their day-to-day lives. So I will stick to local.
Amazing.
There's so many talking heads on TV anyway.
Exactly, there are. You can open the news, you'll see so many people. Be remembered for one huge change or 20 small changes?
I like having a legacy project. Yeah.
So wait, one thing. Okay, nice. Okay. Instantly gain one new skill to be better at your job. What is it?
I'd like somebody to come clean my office. I have the worst office in the history of the universe. And I keep thinking, God, I should just clean this up. It'd be so much easier. I'd be organized. I could find my old copy of the general plan. I wouldn't have to dig through files for it.
So like the specific skill of cleaning your office?
Well, it's organizing stuff.
Organizing stuff, yeah.
And don't tell my husband I said that because he is always criticizing my office.
Cindy's husband, if you're watching, you can just skip like a few 30 seconds after. Yeah. Okay, so those were all the questions. Yeah. But I do want to go back to the meet a top Silicon Valley investor or small neighborhood group of 12 residents. I want to know why you would pick the 12 residents.
The people of Walnut Creek have interesting perspectives, and a lot of times in local government, we hear from the loudest amongst us. And I like going out, we go to the farmer's market every Sunday. There's somebody from council in the booth at the downtown farmer's market, because that gives you an opportunity to see not just what the loudest voices want, but what the average person wants. And that's an important perspective on council.
100%. That's honestly, I think that's really important. And I think it's nice that you chose that, because I had like a slight feeling that you might choose the investor. And I was planning on asking, why not the 12 residents?
Yeah. Well, and the big investors, they have an interesting perspective on the world. One of my cousins worked at Google, still works there, I guess. Yeah. And so you talk to him about some of the things that he's done, and it's fascinating, but it's a different perspective.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a different mindset. Yeah. And I feel like when you are an investor, or even in the tech industry in general, you kind of are forced to have that mindset, because that's just like everyone around you does, and it's like to be competitive. So what would you do? What would you do with the 12 residents?
Really like to hear from people what they like best about Walnut Creek, and what's the most frustrating thing about Walnut Creek for them. And I think I could probably list off what most of those are going to be, but it's always interesting because you don't know. Different neighborhoods experience Walnut Creek in different ways, and what's working fine in one neighborhood might not work. People that live out in Ignacio, they will say traffic every day of the week, because they have to commute on Ignacio, and that is can be very painful.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not going to ask you for too many, but what is one thing that people don't like about Walnut Creek?
People complain about traffic and parking, parking and traffic, traffic and parking.
Yeah, for sure. Is there a way that you think Walnut Creek can maybe change that, or they're working on changing it?
We are constantly working on changing traffic and parking. We take it very seriously. We have a very in-depth parking management plan, and we're looking at how we change it to adapt to the way we've come out of COVID with DoorDash and Uber and a lot of those type of things. You have to manage your space downtown. We also are managing, one of the interesting things we're doing coming out of COVID is we're actually giving up some parking, because people really liked the outdoor dining that was happening during COVID, and they have told us they really want to see that continue. So we are giving restaurant owners opportunities and small grants to help them develop an outdoor dining structure associated with their restaurant.
That's amazing.
And in some cases, it'll take up a parking spot. But
we
want to bring that was one of the good things that came out of COVID.
That's very exciting. I feel like there's multiple things that came out that are good, but then obviously we don't.
There's so much that was bad. There's so much that was bad. Yeah,
but that's really nice. Outdoor dining sounds really exciting. Has it been something that's already started, or is it like planning on?
There's a couple restaurants downtown that one has it already in place. The rest of them, we've said, if you want the small grant, you have to get it done.
Nice.
And so there's a number of them going in.
That's very exciting. Do you know GOTS? You know GOTS roadside? Yeah. Is that one of the ones that have outdoor dining now?
I haven't heard from staff exactly who is doing it and who's
Okay,
not.
okay. That's no, yeah, because it has like a little outdoor place. I was like wondering, maybe like, is that the kind of thing that we're thinking? Or okay,
they had a place behind their restaurant during COVID.
Nice.
But the Main Street Kitchen is the one that's already in. It's right there on Main Street. It's right across, the sidewalk from the main restaurant.
Nice. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. If you could put one sentence on a billboard for anyone starting from zero, what would it say?
I mean, my advice that I give my kids is figure out where your strengths, where your weaknesses, where your passions, and then figure out how to harness your strengths, work with your weaknesses, and find the passion that you can, because otherwise you're just living.
Yeah.
But figure those things out.
That's amazing. As we like kind of talked a little bit about earlier, it's like, when you work, what's the point of working if you don't enjoy it? You have to be passionate about it. And I think that's very important, to be able to utilize your strengths and then find out where your weaknesses are, see if you want to improve them or not. And then, passion. And it's like, is that what you did when you like started off? I know you worked for 25 years and like.
Yeah, when I started off, I was in college. And I was like everybody that started at UC Davis. I was going to be a doctor. Nice. And I thought, I did a physiology lab where you had to take your own blood, and I couldn't do that. I was like, I don't like blood.
You had to take your own blood?
Well, you had to sample your own blood.
Oh my gosh.
And
ow.
I didn't want to do that. I'm like, okay, I am not going to be a doctor. What am I going to be? And I had to think about it. Like I had to go around and think about what are the kinds of things I enjoy? What are the things that I don't enjoy? And that's when I came up with the idea of, I had a lot of the basic biology already done, and I could go into wildlife and fisheries management and weave my love of the outdoors with my environmental sustainability focus and do that. I was going to then go on to law school and be be a litigator in favor of fish and wildlife issues, but then I discovered field work, and that was so much fun.
Oh, that's amazing. It's funny that you were going to be a doctor and then a lawyer.
I was going to be a doctor, I was going to be a lawyer. Yeah.
And then after that, you did like environmental science and like biology, and then now you're the mayor.
And now I'm the mayor, yeah.
That's really, honestly, I think that's just a reminder that we don't have to be set on a path.
Oh, no.
Like, it's always, you just like, or actually you tell for us.
Well, it's like the thought that you're going to do one thing for 30 years is, you don't have to. You can start one thing, you can think, oh, this has been fun, but I want to do something a little different. So I did that. Like after the end of my 20s, there was a day we were counting salmon on a river, and it was November, and it was pouring rain, and the salmon were dead, so they smelled awful.
Oh my gosh. And
our rain gear was leaking, our boat was filling with water, our radio stopped working because it got wet. I thought, I'm done with being out in the field. I want to go work in an office where I can make a difference, make more of a difference. I don't want to just be out here collecting the data. I want to be the person that takes the data and does something with it.
Wow.
And so I went from my 20s into my 30s, where I went and did more work in the regulatory world.
So and like public policy.
Yeah, public policy. And then when I decided to retire, same thing. It's like, okay, I have all this experience in public policy and environmental regulations and laws and how to find ways that government can work. But I'm going to be a mom now. So what else can I do?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's like, you have like the background, and it's not necessarily that like, I mean, you obviously don't need to have the same background that you did to become mayor, but it's like, because you did, you knew the change you wanted to make and why, because you like firsthand saw like, here are the different issues, and like I can't make them when I'm on the field, so I'm gonna go into the office and I'm gonna
make a difference.
Yeah, so I think that's very inspiring. Also, like as a student myself, it's like if I want to see a difference, then like there's multiple ways to go for it. It's not always like just one way. It's not
and if you start one way and it's not feeling quite right, you can change. Never be afraid to change.
Do you think change is very important? Is that kind of like?
Yeah, you have to. People sometimes get trapped. They're like, oh, well, I've been doing this for a long time and I'm not really enjoying it anymore. But it's what I know, so I just
Yes.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
Say, no, you can change.
Wow, thank you. That's honestly amazing. So, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat this again. So, it was technically one sentence. If you could put one sentence on a billboard. But oh, no, we always love more information. Thank you.
Yeah.
But if you could put one sentence on a billboard, it can be like literally 3 words, like the shortest or, whatever. One sentence on a billboard for anyone starting from zero, essentially advice.
Know your strengths, weaknesses, and your passions.
Can you repeat that?
Know your strengths, your weaknesses, and your passions.
Thank you so much, Cindy. That's amazing. I think that's so, so important. That and the other thing that stuck with me was it has to be, you're trying to make Walnut Creek safe, welcoming,
welcoming, and now I lost it.
Oh my gosh. I just said that it stuck with me.
I know.
Okay. We both know what we're talking about. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, but anyway, that also stuck with me though. I'll watch this later and be like, oh my gosh, I should have remembered. But anyway, before we close, or do you have anything else you want to say?
I think that thank you for taking the time.
Okay, of course. No, thank you for telling. You shared so much information. Like, it's literally so informational. I don't think I would have heard this from you otherwise if we didn't do this. Yeah. So I really appreciate this. Before we close, who's one person whose story Walnut Creek or the Bay Area really needs to hear next? And if I do get to talk with them, what's the one question I can't leave out?
I think there's a lot going on in the political world right now. And I think it's good that you're talking to Ken Carlson, because he is somebody that is working hard in a lot of different ways to make changes. And he brings passion to it. So, yeah.
Thank you. Definitely. Ken Carlson, you heard from Cindy.
There you go.
You're my next interview. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. And I learned so, so much, Cindy. Everyone did. Everyone learned so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for watching KFN.